Texas A&M has hired Notre Dame defensive coordinator Mike Elko to coach Jimbo Fisher's defense. Texas A&M announced the hiring on Thursday, a few hours after Fighting Irish coach Brian Kelly posted on Twitter that Elko had accepted an offer to be the Aggies' defensive coordinator. Elko was at Notre Dame for one season, and the Fighting Irish defense took a big step forward. From 5.40 yards per play allowed, 45th in the nation, to 5.05, 25th. He spent the previous 3 seasons at Wake Forest. Texas A&M tried to hire Dave Aranda away from LSU, but he chose to stay with the Tigers and signed a 4-year deal worth $10 million on Wednesday night. Aranda is the first FBS assistant to make more than $2 million per year. Elko, 40, spent 3 seasons at Wake Forest before being hired by Kelly as part of a major overhaul to Notre Dame's staff. The Irish went 4-8 last season, but rebounded to 10-3 this year, including a 21-17 victory against LSU in the Citrus Bowl. Fisher took over at Texas A&M last month after 8 seasons at Florida State. Fisher took neither of his coordinators from Florida State with him to College Station, hiring Darrell Dickey away from Memphis to be offensive coordinator and now Elko to lead the defense. Stanford DL Harrison Phillips to enter NFL draft. Stanford defensive lineman Harrison Phillips will bypass his final year of eligibility to enter the NFL draft. Phillips announced his decision on Thursday. Phillips was a third-team All-American this season when he had 14.5 tackles for loss and 7.5 sacks for the Cardinal. Phillips had 1 year of eligibility remaining because he had a season-ending knee injury in the 2015 opener and was eligible for a medical redshirt. Stanford tight end Dalton Schultz declared for the draft earlier this week. The Cardinals are still waiting for a decision from star running back and Heisman runner-up Bryce Love. Source: Washington State D.C. Grinch leaving for Ohio State. A person with knowledge of the decision says Washington State defensive coordinator Alex Grinch is leaving the Cougars and joining Ohio State as an assistant coach. The person spoke to the Associated Press Thursday on condition anonymity because the deal was still being finalized. Ohio State spokesman Jerry Emig says there would be no announcement on the addition of a 10th assistant coach on Urban Meyer's staff until next week at the earliest. A new NCAA rule goes into effect after this season that allows FBS teams to expand staffs to 10 full-time assistant coaches. Sports Illustrated first reported Grinch was heading to Ohio State. Grinch, an Ohio native who played at Division III powerhouse Mount Union, has been with Washington State since 2015. Atlanta police, Secret Service prepare for Trump's visit to title game. Atlanta's mayor is promising a safe, smooth and secure college football championship game Monday, despite the traffic problems expected to be caused by President Donald Trump's motorcade. But none of the many agencies involved are taking any chances. The stadium will be secured by legions of undercover and uniformed officers. Overhead air traffic, including drones, will be prohibited, and the police chief implored the more than 100,000 participants in events related to the big game to leave their guns at home. Please execute the highest regard and greatest level of common sense. We cannot have folks continuing to bring guns and leaving them in their cars. Chief Erica Shields said at a multi-agency news conference Thursday on preparations. Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms said the Secret Service and other agencies have prepared for this for months, so the addition of a presidential visit to the mix won't disrupt the fun. Special Agent David Lovely, who runs the FBI's Atlanta office, said although there aren't any specific threats against this event, we are actively assessing intelligence that comes in. Quote, Florida State to Josh Sweat enters NFL draft. Florida State's Josh Sweat will forego his final year of eligibility and enter the NFL Draft. The 6'5", 253-pound defensive lineman led the Seminoles in sacks 5 and tackles for loss 12 He also had 56 tackles, which led the defensive line and was third on the team. Sweat chose not to play in the Seminoles' Independence Bowl victory over Southern Mississippi on Deck 27. Sweat is the third Florida State player to declare for the draft, joining safety Derwin James and tight end Ryan Izzo, from Wire reports.